Lost Music Network magazine.
So, Stuart of Time in Antarctica here for Knots Music Network, and I'm interviewing Laurie Illingworth. Hey Laurie, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you.
Good. All right, so to begin with, tell us a bit about yourself.
My name's Laurie Illingworth and I'm a musician and singer-songwriter on the Nottingham music scene currently.
So you play piano as is sitting next to you, and you'll be playing a couple of songs for us later.
A couple of original tunes, yeah.
Cool. So how would you describe your sound and style?
My sound is very... I tend to go for a kind of blend sound. So obviously I play the keys, and I just love the sound of an upright or grand or whatever piano. I play keyboard quite a lot when I'm gigging in and around Nottingham. But for me, there's nothing better than the sound of this beautiful instrument. And then in terms of vocally and instrumentally, I go for a kind of blend effect, so like a try and mix the two, so the voice and the piano kind of become one, and I just come out with these kind of these pieces of music which using that technique. So
it's cool you got a technique, so you kind of play counterpoints and harmonies to the vocals, so does the melody vocal come first and then you build the piano around it, or do you come up with a kind of chord structure and then kind of finesse it, or a bit of both? Or
to be honest with you, I'm fairly new to songwriting original material, so I wouldn't say I've got a particular style or technique in terms of method of songwriting just yet. The material I've got at the minute, I've got a few tunes now. I've been writing for about a year. So the tunes that I've got were all they're all structured differently. So there's no, there are some that are pretty typical of a song, of just vocal and piano, but there are some that are just very much a concoction of me listening to a load of different genres and then bringing it to my own kind of style. So in terms of vocal melodies and things, they're in some of the songs that I do, they're very strong, and you can see that they kind of go throughout, and the piano is definitely there to accompany it. But with some, I love just putting the two together, almost using the piano as another voice, so like a duet, I guess.
Great, yeah. I mean, it's there are obviously lots of ways of approaching writing, and that's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, the way I kind of write is I don't really have a formula. It's just sometimes I'll start with a bass, sometimes I'll start with guitar, sometimes I'll start with piano, and can go from there. And it's a really nice thing to be able to kind of just have different approaches. So yeah, don't worry about getting a routine in place.
I love chords, basically. This piano is why I love the piano so much, is because it's such an accessible instrument. You can literally just go up to it, like you can just do that, and that takes no skill whatsoever. Obviously you need to know it first, but just go up to it and press it. So it's such an accessible instrument, and the chords, from those chords I then find a pattern that I like, or something that I want to repeat and I can hear in my head, and then suddenly, if you've got something that you've been thinking about, get some words down, and you've got a song. So
yeah, perfect.
I guess that's the way I work. Yeah.
So how long have you been playing and singing piano? I mean, you said you're new to songwriting, but
so I've been playing the piano for since I was about I'll say probably 15, 16, so I'm 23 now, 7, 8 years, something like that.
Okay.
So self-taught. I did have a few lessons with a couple of different teachers, classically trained, because my original instrument before the piano was the clarinet. So I grew up playing the clarinet, very classically trained, kind of sight reading music, that kind of thing. But then I decided that I wanted to move on to another instrument, and it was a piano, but I didn't really get along with learning sheet music and learning the left hand and the right hand and bringing a whole new clef into it in terms of the bass clef. I found that difficult to get on with at first, maybe because I'm very easily distracted and didn't concentrate very much. But kind of started around that age, mainly learning from YouTube tutorials. And then also just having this like sheet of chords. Like I say, I love chords, and just working out different things for myself. Probably about that time.
So you started with clarinet, you say, so you kind of always been interested in music?
100%.
Yeah.
So my just major influences growing up, my mum and dad, straight up. I think my dad was a musician, and I'm pretty sure he had a gig the night I was born. So I might, I probably wasn't there, but
well, he probably wasn't. So he wasn't there when you were born.
Well, he was, but then he shot off to the gig to play that. I think there was something to do with that. I'll have to refresh them on the story. But
he was clock watching. Come on, yeah. I've got a gig to get to.
Yeah, so he used to be like the lead singer in a kind of, I don't know what it was, like 15-piece rock and roll band.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then had major influences in country, folk, growing up, those kind of things. My mum's always been really, a major music fan, and she has always, she likes quite up-and-coming artists, so she'll always, she says she discovered Paolo Nutini and James Morrison and Maverick Sabre and all these boys, which she definitely didn't, but she likes to think she did. And then they started introducing me to like music centres and things like that. I've got twin brother as well, so we used to go to the music centre together. And then growing up even further, when I started to play the piano around 15 years old, I had quite a few different musical friends, so just at school and things, who were doing gigs in and around where we lived. Very, rock bands, kind of soul singing as well. And then I decided one day when I went to one of these open mics that they were playing at, I was like, I'm just going to give it a go. And I asked one of the girls, Rosie, who was singing, if she would sing if I learnt a piece of piano at the next month's open mic. And so I went away and Make You Feel My Love by Adele, Bob Dylan, but the Adele version. And she said yes, so I went away and learnt it. And then I also learnt Bad Day by Daniel Powter, which is an absolute tune, by the way. And then I started performing them. And then we added a guy called Jack, who was a guitarist as well, who was already doing things in different bands. And we started playing gigs and weddings and things like that. And then I just became more and more used to learning the piano and, deciding the way I liked it sounding and things like that. And then I went to university to study music. Sorry, I feel like I'm dragging on with this answer a bit, but I went off to university, York St John University, to study music for 3 years. And then since returning from York, I have been writing original material for kind of the last year or so. Yeah,
I mean, so it sounds like you've got a broad sort of range of music that filters through you. That's cool. Yeah. So you've been writing. What's next? What's next for Laurie Illingworth?
What's next? Well, I need to get the songs that I've been writing down and recorded for people to hear, because at the minute I'm just playing them at gigs and live, which is fine, and that's what I do, but I want people to be able to say, who's that? It's Laurie Illingworth. I'm going to go and search him on Spotify. Which people can't at the minute. So I'm working towards an EP release, ideally be before the end of this year, so before December. And I'm also moving to Nottingham, which I don't actually live here. Disclaimer, I don't live here at the minute, but I'm moving. And the idea for me is to just get stuck in and meet new people, collaborate with new people. I'm currently working with a producer in Nottingham on a dance track, which is pretty cool. So I'm guest vocaling on that. And we're working together and just putting some filthy beats behind it, basically. So that's exciting. I've got some gigs coming up as well, so I'll be supporting Air Lou at Nottingham Contemporary Gallery on the 25th of August, alongside Dowdy, which is mega for me, and I'm not entirely sure how I've managed that, to be honest. But that's really, really exciting. They're one of my favourite bands, and I love watching Dowdy perform as well. I'm playing at Dot to Dot as well, so I'll be at Rescue Rooms, Acoustic Rooms stage. Not sure what time or anything yet, but I'll be there. I mean,
nice, you seem to be going to gigs, because I saw you at Beat Streets. Yes. I just kind of wandered in. I was in Rescue Rooms, and I wandered in and just heard this, and you have an amazing voice, a really kind of distinctive, kind of rich voice, and I just was like, well, what's that? Oh, and he's playing piano as well, because it's kind of like something a little bit different, so... Yeah, so it was definitely pricked my ears up, so that's good.
Beat the Streets was good. One of my major gigs of this year so far, so back in January, really went really well. I was playing up in Red Rooms and Rescue Rooms, and like you say, thoroughly enjoyable. I think people there seem to enjoy it, so... Yeah, it was a good day in all in.
Yes,
it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Cool, alright, well, you're going to play a couple of songs for us. What songs are you going to play?
So I'm going to play two songs that I've written that are ideally going to be on the EP that I'll release. So the first one is called Hollow, and the second is called Into the Light. I'll just play them straight off the back of each other because they're in the same key, so that's helpful. But the first is I don't really talk about this. The first is very much about heartbreak, and the second is still, it's still kind of about heartbreak, but also with an optimistic twist on it. So, yeah.
If it wasn't for heartbreak, we probably wouldn't have half the music
We wouldn't
exists.
we wouldn't.
Or
So,
maybe even any music. I don't know. Maybe not any.
yeah, it's reflective music. So
Cool. That sounds.
you enjoy it.
Sounds definitely on my street. All right. Well, can I wrap it up there? Thank you very much for your time. Great to meet you.
And you.
And yeah, cheers.
All done. No worries.
What I dreaming in the quiet hours, short silent longing for a voice. Why am I dreaming in the quiet hours? Sure that I'm longing for a voice. No, I won't wait. It's what you tell yourself when you just keep hanging on. No, I won't wait. But if you ever happen to be passing through, you might find I'm hollow, so hollow. You might find I'm hollow, hollow, hollow. I'm hollow, hollow. What I dreaming in the quiet hours, sure that I'm longing for a void. Why am I dreaming in the quiet hours? Sure, tell yourself and you just keep hanging on. Oh, wait. But if you ever happen to be passing through a while, you might find I'm hollow, so hollow. You might find me hollow. We'll come into the light. Don't look up yet. Avert those glistening eyes. I can't forget. Smile as you walk away. Smile as I'm thrown away. Smile as you walk away. Smile as I'm thrown away. Share your thoughts with me. Don't give up yet. These people want to see nothing's regrets. Don't smile as you walk away. I won't smile as I'm thrown away. Please don't smile as you walk away. I won't smile as I'm thrown away. Oh, not today. Don't spill over. don't look up yet. Avert those glistening eyes, I can't forget. The smile as you walked away, the smile as I'm thrown away, the smile as you walk away, the smile as I'm thrown away. Come into the light.